Luther Burton is officially back on the practice field after being sidelined since the Bears' rookie minicamp as training camp moves forward. His return during the first padded practice marks an important step for both him and the team. Burton had been dealing with a soft tissue injury, likely a hamstring strain, which is a common setback for wide receivers and can linger longer than expected. But now that he's back in pads and running routes, it's clear he's aiming to reclaim his spot and prove his value. There's still plenty of time left in camp for him to get reps and build chemistry with the offense. This situation remains a story only until it isn't. Once Burton is fully integrated into practices day after day, his return won't be news anymore. It will be business as usual. Similar to Burton, Colston Loveland has also been making strides after missing much of the spring workouts. Loveland has participated in several consecutive practices and seems ready to fight for playing time. The Bears' wide receiver room is quite crowded and competitive this year, with established names like DJ and Rome leading the pack. Behind them, Amadi Zaccheaus has been turning heads with some solid performances, making the battle for the third receiver spot even fiercer for Luther Burton. The clear path to a meaningful role may well be overtaking Zaccheaus for that coveted slot receiver position. DJ and Rome are fairly secure as the top to wideouts, so Burton's focus has to be on edging out Zaccheaus to get consistent snaps. There's also the interesting dynamic with Colston Loveland, who, while officially a tight end, is expected to line up in the slot frequently. That could shuffle the depth chart in unexpected ways, giving the Bears a versatile set of weapons in the passing game. The question that lingers: who will emerge as the third wide receiver on this team? Fans and analysts alike are eager to see how this competition shakes out as camp progresses. Turning to the injury front, the biggest development today came with Tano Paceno leaving practice early due to a hand or wrist injury. He was carted off after being examined on the sidelines, which naturally raises concerns about the severity of the issue. Paceno was brought in to provide depth and competition at the edge rusher spot behind Monty Sweat and Diobenge Dingbo. While he isn't necessarily a game changer, his presence adds valuable experience to a group that's been thin on depth for quite some time. Paceno has over 90 NFL games under his belt and 16 career sacks, along with a solid ability against the run. Losing him for an extended period would certainly force the Bears to reevaluate their pass rush rotation and possibly seek reinforcements. There are still notable edge defenders like Zachariah Smith, JADEVEON Clowney, and Matt Judon available on the market, any of whom could be targeted to bolster the defense. With Von Miller recently signed, the Bears have made some moves, but an injury to Paceno complicates that picture, especially if Diobenge Dingbo continues to slide inside occasionally in sub-packages. The team is likely waiting on X-ray results, hoping the injury isn't serious. But this is something to watch closely as camp unfolds. Other players also dealt with injury-related absences or questions during practice. Doug Kramer was held out and listed as day-to-day, which suggests a minor issue but one worth monitoring. Clowney, who had left practice the day before, returned to the field, which is a positive sign. Yamar Turner is managing an ankle concern, and the status of Z. Frazier remains uncertain due to personal reasons. Frazier's absence is particularly impactful given his status as a fifth-round pick. Trying to earn a roster spot, missing critical practice reps makes it harder for him to prove his value. But the team and fans are respecting the privacy around the situation. Injuries and personal matters always add an element of unpredictability to roster battles during camp. Meanwhile, the Bears' offensive line competition remains one of the most intriguing storylines of camp. Braxton Jones has taken a significant step forward by participating in team drills for the first time since recovering from ankle surgery. The first padded practice saw Jones working initially with the second-team offense, but as practice progressed, he rotated back into first-team reps alongside AZ Trapillo and Karen Amaji. Notably, Trapillo was the first to take snaps at left tackle during the opening segment of the padded practice, a strong signal that the coaching staff has high hopes for him winning the starting job. Trapillo was the first left tackle off the board in the draft, and the Bears appear to be backing him to step in as the Week 1 starter. Jones and Amaji are still very much in the mix, and the ongoing rotation suggests the competition is far from settled. Padded practices often expose strengths and weaknesses in a way non-contact drills cannot, so the next several days will be crucial for these linemen to prove their readiness. Trapillo's early edge and snap share may be meaningful, but nothing is guaranteed yet on the offensive side of the ball. There was a clear emphasis on the running game during this first padded session. With the physicality of full pads on display, the Bears focused on pushing the ball on the ground, as this phase of practice better allows offensive linemen and running backs to impose their will. Without pads, run-blocking drills can feel more like walkthroughs, limiting their effectiveness. Head coach Ben Johnson's plan to run the football is evident in this approach, as the team aims to establish a solid ground attack early in camp. JADEVEON Swift remains the undisputed lead back, but players like Roschon Johnson and Kyle Manunga are battling for the backup roles. The running back competition will be fascinating to track, as the pads stay on and the tempo intensifies. The physical nature of these practices is the ideal environment for these backs to showcase their ability to break tackles and grind out yards. With all these developments, the Bears training camp is shaping up to be an intense, highly competitive environment. The first padded practice brought clarity to some battles while raising questions in others. The return of Luther Burton and Braxton Jones adds excitement on offense, while the injury to Tano Paceno introduces concern on defense. The tight receiver group and the crowded edge rush rotation mean that many players must perform consistently to secure their roster spots. Each practice continues to build momentum toward the preseason, where these storylines will only grow in importance. Fans can expect the Bears to lean heavily on physicality and running the ball early on, setting the tone for what promises to be a compelling camp and season ahead. As training camp progresses, the competition for roster spots on both sides of the ball only intensifies. The Bears coaching staff is clearly pushing players to show their best, especially with full pads now in play. One of the most talked about aspects of today's practice was the rotation at left tackle, where the battle between AZ Trapillo, Braxton Jones, and Karen Amaji has become a focal point for the offensive line's future. The fact that Trapillo opened the first padded practice with the starting unit signals confidence in his ability to anchor the line, yet Jones' return from ankle surgery and his involvement in team drills suggest the staff remains open to whoever proves themselves ready to handle the responsibility week one. Amaji's inclusion in later reps with the starters shows the competition is far from over, making this one of the most fascinating positional battles to watch in camp. The Bears know protecting the quarterback and establishing the run game starts with a reliable left tackle, so the stakes could not be higher. Meanwhile, the injury to Tano Paceno remains a cloud hanging over the defensive edge rotation. Paceno was brought in for his experience and ability to provide depth behind Monty's Sweat and Dio Bange Dingbo, but his early exit and unknown injury severity leave questions about the Bears' pass rush depth. With the team's history of struggling to maintain a consistent edge presence, losing a player like Paceno could force them back into the market for a veteran edge rusher. Names like Zachariah Smith, JADEVEON Clowney, and Matt Judon still remain unsigned and could offer the Bears upgrades at this crucial position. Even Von Miller, who was recently signed, adds an element of unpredictability to the pass rush. But the health and availability of all these players will dictate how the rotation shapes up. If Paceno's injury keeps him sidelined for a significant stretch, the Bears will need to adjust their defensive schemes or seek reinforcements quickly to avoid a drop-off in pressure on opposing quarterbacks. On the offensive side, the running backs have shown glimpses of what the Bears hope will become a dependable ground attack. JADEVEON Swift is clearly the bell cow, but the competition behind him is anything but settled. Roschon Johnson and Kyle Manunga have both put in strong efforts, eager to carve out roles as reliable backups and change-of-pace options. With the pads on, these running backs get a better chance to demonstrate their toughness and ability to gain yards after contact, which is crucial for the team's physical identity. This phase of camp is also a proving ground for the offensive line, which must gel to create running lanes consistently. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy, drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Rumors are swirling in the NFL world as the Chicago Bears appear to be making a major move to bolster their defensive line. Sources suggest that the Bears are closing in on securing JADEVEON Clowney, one of the league's most feared pass rushers, to add significant firepower to their defense. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the buzz around the league indicates that Chicago is aggressively pursuing the former first overall draft pick in a bid to dominate on defense. In the upcoming season, Clowney, known for his explosive athleticism and relentless pursuit of quarterbacks, could be a game changer for the Bears. Chicago has been eager to strengthen its defensive front, and adding a player of Clowney's caliber would send a strong message to their division rivals. The Bears have struggled with consistency on defense in recent years, and bringing in a player with Clowney's pedigree might be exactly what the team needs to shift momentum and intimidate opponents. Fans and analysts alike are speculating how Clowney would fit into Chicago's defensive scheme. His versatility to line up both as a defensive end and outside linebacker makes him a valuable asset, capable of creating pressure from multiple angles. This flexibility could allow the Bears to experiment with different defensive looks, keeping offenses guessing and elevating the team's overall competitiveness. The potential signing also sparks conversations about the salary cap and how the Bears plan to manage their roster. Clowney's contract demands have historically been substantial, so Chicago would need to make some tough decisions to accommodate such a high-profile acquisition. Nevertheless, the allure of adding a dominant defensive force seems to outweigh these concerns, especially if the front office believes this move can push the Bears closer to playoff contention. While Clowney's injury history is a point of caution, his moments of brilliance on the field are undeniable. If he can stay healthy, his presence could invigorate Chicago's defense and bring a much-needed boost in tackles for loss, sacks, and quarterback pressures. This would not only improve the team's defensive rankings, but also energize the fan base, hungry for a resurgence of Bears' defensive dominance. As the NFL offseason progresses, keep a close eye on the developments surrounding JADEVEON Clowney and the Chicago Bears. The buzz suggests that this could be one of the biggest defensive moves of the year, potentially altering the balance of power in the NFC North. Whether this rumor solidifies into a blockbuster signing remains to be seen, but the possibility alone has already sparked excitement and anticipation among Bears fans and NFL watchers nationwide. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.